Good evening, and welcome to another session of Leadership Conversation brought to you by Itwala Europe. And my name is JD Modede. I'm the Itwala Regional Ambassador for Europe, and it's always a great pleasure, to be with you Monday evenings. Every Monday evening, 9 p.m. UK time, we are in the YouTube space, and our discussion, our focus is all about leadership. By the way, that's not just where we end it as well. And this is just to whet our appetites to now actually get into what Itwala does. And we'll come to that even much later. And tonight, so I want to welcome all our friends, associates, our partners all around the world, from the Caribbean, from the Americas, Africa, as many people will be joining. And those who will be watching this broadcast even at a later time as well, I want to welcome you tonight. We've been on this subject, on this theme, the whole month. And we've been talking about the new generation. And people might be thinking, why are we spending so much time on this particular subject? Because, look, without we being intentional about raising a new generation of leaders, our future, our nations, our families, our organizations, our institutions are going to be in major, major troubles. We need to be intentional about continually developing a new generation that will take over from us. No matter what you're doing, you need to be planning for your replacement. There is no success without succession. Succession must be an intentional activity continually, starting from the family unit. And it goes every other place to governments. And today, and that way we'll be able to solve a whole lot of problems as well. So, last week I was talking about mentoring itself, because that is one of the ways that you prepare the next generation. And today, I've got two fantastic friends of mine, colleagues of mine, and also part of our Itwala network, and also a fantastic speaker as well that I'm going to introduce them. Well, let me just start. I'm just going to start with the first person today that we're bringing on board. First time on Leadership Conversation, and this is Patrice Bailey. By the way, let me just tell you a few things about Patrice. I got a few things written down here. Patrice, oh my God, look at that. She's smiling. And she's the director of Patrice Bailey International. So you can Google that and see what they do as well. A trainer and a consulting company, which is committed to equipping and empowering minority groups and underserved communities with the, oh my God, can I see here? With the resources, education, and opportunities to become economically independent through entrepreneurship. That's a whole lot of things that we just got it in there. But very important, Patrice is a trainer, number one. Number two, she's a consultant. Number three, she's a speaker and a community advocate as well. And she's been doing this for the last, I think, about 15 years that she's been doing this. She has a deep passion. And when somebody's passionate about something, you got to watch out for their passion as well. Patrice is passionate for equity and pulling down structural barriers that prevent all people from being able to fulfill their potential. My God, I think that's exactly where we're going. Our goal is to help tens and thousands of individuals from undeserved communities and minority groups gain the knowledge, skills, and network and finance needed to unlock their creativity, their innovation, and potential as well. Now, you got to understand that she's also been in a capacity of working professionally, with schools, primary schools, high schools. Now, that is the place to catch them, especially when we begin to talk about, the next generation. If you can go as deep as that, then we surely have some hope, and working with them in the assemblies where she encourages young people to take advantage of their learning opportunities and inspires hope. Our prophecy to them is this, and I love this: you are all unique and capable of doing amazing things. You are all unique and capable of doing amazing things. Can you imagine somebody telling you every day that? Some of us, we didn't hear that. All we heard was that you are nothing, you can become nothing. Look at your head like a coconut head, and you just be like your daddy. And you listen to that continually, it's discouraging. So as a speaker and trainer, workshop curator and facilitator, Patrice delivers hard-eating truths, to empower and equip areas to aim high and to activate and maximize their potential. Please, Itwala Europe, welcome with me, Patrice Bailey tonight. Patrice, come and say something to all our friends tonight.
Hi, good evening, wherever you're watching from. It's an honor and it's a pleasure to be on this platform. I'm really looking forward to speaking and having a conversation about this topic, which is really close to my heart.
Fantastic. I was quite deliberate about this as well, because your passion for young people, is one of the reasons why you're here with us. And I have, secondly, a brother, a colleague, is also part of the Itwala network. I've been working with for years. I've had the opportunity of having on some of our fantastic stages to speak as well. This is my dear friend and brother, Kunle Banwo, who is solely committed to representing God's kingdom and the reality of Christ's life in the corporate world and in the society. Now, you got to understand that is coming from a background, and you hear him from that perspective. He works as a personal development coach in corporate and charitable establishments, while also helping businesses to transform decision support processes and systems. It creates value with clients across multiple business sectors through business and informational technology consulting, helping to create business and information strategy and improve people development, corporate processes, and system integration. Kunle holds a first degree in computer science and obtained an MBA from Liberty University, Virginia. Is a certified John Maxwell coach, speaker, and trainer, and consummate investor in professional career and youth development. Please welcome with me, Kunle Banwo. Please, Kunle, say something to the people.
Good evening, and a good pleasure to be here with you. It's a delight anytime I'm invited to share any thought at all or conversation on leadership development, whether it's for youth or for anyone at all. I just think that leadership is our past, is our present, and our future.
So, fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. And if you're joining us for the first time, somebody's invited you, or you just ran into this session, or you got an invite, please, if you've not subscribed to the channel, please do so and click on the notification bell as well, so that you can always get a lot from us when we're on air as well. And you can always go back and watch this and also share with your associate, with your network as well. This is Itwala Conversation. This is Leadership Conversation with Itwala Europe as well. Now, let's go into the topic. We don't need no preamble again. Now, both of you work with young people, and you're still young. I think I'm a bit younger, but you're the youngest. Okay, I'll put it that way. All right, so we'll go to the youngest. Okay, and I want you, Patrick, and I know you've been working with different sectors, and especially the work you guys have been doing, especially with young people with the crime in London and things like that as well. We need a developing world as well, to have a future. We need the next generation. Now, I need you guys to share with us, and because a lot of people watch these things, practical ways you would prescribe in developing our younger generation for leadership, especially. What are your thoughts? What are the things that you've seen? What are the things that you've worked on with, younger generation in the past that we can take, a template, or we take notes from, especially when we begin to apply some of our developing nations, Africa, the Caribbean, and some of all these other places. Please, the floor is yours, Patrice.
For me, what I have found is we need to re-educate and reimagine the possibilities for the young people. It's about changing the frames of reference from where they're looking at the world from. It's about shifting their mindset, having a paradigm shift. That's what I found, because everything starts with their beliefs. And at the beginning, you made a joke about, empowering and disempowering. When we're disempowered and we're told we can't make it, or look at your head and look at all of these things.
Yep.
And we have to, my thing is equipping and empowering. We have to invest in equipping and empowering our young people. That is the way Jesus equipped and empowered his disciples. He was the greatest leader. He mentored them, he equipped them, and he empowered them. He instilled in them what they needed. And so for the young people, they need to be guided, they need to be directed, they need to be empowered to know that they have the strength and the confidence, and to understand that they have a destiny. There is a uniqueness about them that is needed. There is a role for them to play. And where it starts from, young people, I hear, are quite discouraged because what they are seeing out there. I'll give you an example. My son is 24. And he said to me, Mom, when they're looking on social media and all these young people and they're making 30,000 a week and they can't compete. So they want the success, but without the process. They want
without the process.
Without the process. And that success, and what they have to understand is that you can have that success, but there is a process that's going to come with it. And we have to now instill that into our young people. And it starts from a very young age. So I have various children. I have 24 down to 4 years old. And from the 4, the 6, the 14th, and the 24, all of those ages require instilling in them and equipping in them and empowering them to understand that you have this greatness, you have this uniqueness, but it's going to need to be guided and directed into where you need to go. And without that, and it's shifting their beliefs, because their beliefs start. My daughter is 6, and she's already start to have frames of reference in how she sees things. She sees her younger brother. She sees that there's a difference between how a boy is treated and how a girl. And she's already started to form these beliefs. So as a parent, as an authority figure, as a leader, we have to be very intentional in how we are raising up and training up the next generation. So for me, it's about equipping through programs, re-educating, not taking away the academia, but there is a way that we have to re-educate. We have to instill certain skills. We have to instill interpersonal skills, social skills, all of these things, leadership skills, public speaking skills. There's these soft skills. Critical thinking is huge. We have to start instilling that into our young people through different kinds of programs and initiatives. And the government, private sector, financial sector need to invest, because when I looked at it, in Africa alone, the African youth will, by 2030, I think it is, be 42% of the global youth.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Wow, that's a lot.
Of global youth will be in Africa. So if Africa doesn't wake up and do something, Africa will be in trouble.
Oh, yes.
Imagine the millions of job seekers. If we don't empower them to be to not even be seekers, but to be creators, to be able to, like, there needs to be a government initiative to empower these young people, because otherwise Africa will be in trouble, because we will have disenfranchised, discouraged young people, which is almost 50% of the global youth. Imagine.
Wow. Now this is deep. You've talked about re-educating, and I always say to people that the kind of education system we have in place right now is a big scam. Because when we really begin to study the education itself, it's so hollow, it's so confusing, it totally moves away from what the purpose of education is. You talk about mindset change, empowering. Now, this empowerment we're going to come back to, because somebody asked me a question, say, okay, when you say empowerment, what does it mean? And I know that Ambassador Kunle does quite some work around that. So Kunle, tell us, practical ways, and build something on what Patrice is saying there. And I know that you've been working in that space as well. Come on, tell us something.
I 100% agree with Patrice. And sometimes I wonder, where do we begin from when we come to this subject? There's so much to unpack. However, let me try, if I may, crystallize this into very small matters.
Okay.
For me, and this is where I look at industries and environments where things are done slightly differently. First and foremost, in the production process, you have to define what product you want to create. So you define the end, then you back up and look at what materials and processes you need in order to achieve that outcome. In other words, everything you're doing is outcome driven. Sometimes the approach we take is almost a gambling type of approach, where we're just doing things and hoping something just becomes different. And for me, that's been very unintentional about this. I think this platform is set out to be intentional about the outcomes that we derive. What kind of youth do we want?
Wow.
Then let's back up. How do we get there? Using every resource at our disposal. And this does not rule out all of our spiritual investment,
Mm-hmm.
all of our physical, parental, governmental, and everything that Patrice has been talking about, everything has to be seen as resources and inputs to achieving the outcome we want. This, if you look at it in every industry you go to, whether it's banking, whether it's typical manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, this is what they do. We want to get this product, and then the process is created to achieve the product. If your process and your input is not carefully designed to achieve the product, you're not likely to. As a matter of fact, even the best companies that still try to achieve some kind of outcomes still have some deviations. That's what you call factory defects, isn't it? But even that's even with their best efforts, how much less people who have no intentional approach at all towards their outcomes. And here, this is where I talk to parents.
Yeah.
If you're not thinking carefully about the kind of children you want to give the world,
wow,
you're going to have accidental adults.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Say that again! Say that again! Say that again! Now, man, this is getting really. I see you guys coming back. Say that again. Please just say that again, because I think that's exactly what we're doing right now.
An accidental adult is a young person that grew up without any direction towards the preferred destination. So they just happen. They just discovered, oh, now I'm 24, now I'm 25, and I'm an adult. What do I do with myself? That's an accidental adult.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic.
So if you don't want an accidental adult, then you have to be intentional in the input and the processes and everything that goes into the development of our youth. I think that's probably a way to crystallize it, because there's a lot to say there.
Now, if we as parents are not intentional, what we create is accidental adults, which will be, let me put my stuff on top of it, an accidental generation.
Exactly.
Literally, we create an accidental generation here. Yeah. And it looks like this is exactly the space where we are right now, because we literally have, we can see the evidence of it already, that we have an accidental society, accidental world, accidental generation right now. And so we need to now backtrack. And this is exactly what we're doing right now. What kind of youth do we want? I think this is a very critical question that you've raised today. That in fact, if we study it as well, within the divinity as well, and the way that our world is supposed to work, we're supposed to really understand the purpose for this children that we want to produce before we even produce them. So literally, we get them and we begin to lead them in the path of purpose.
That's right.
But right now, people just have children. We don't have children for having children's sake. I need to have children because if I don't have children, people are going to talk and da. Okay, you have this children there for what purpose? And we have a very accidental world. Now, all that being said, now, by the way, let's quickly go back to something. And I'm very conscious of our time. Patrice, you said something about, and I need both of you to give us one or two tips as well, because I know my people are already there thinking. We have a whole lot of thinking people on this platform. I can see a lot of comments coming. By the way, so empowerment. Give us some tips on how do we empower this youth? What does it mean to empower? How do we empower? Just some things that point practical ways of empowerment. Somebody asked me the question just last week, because I did mention empowerment as well. I said, okay, wait, you're going to get your answer very soon. So both of you, tell us something.
Do you want to go first, particularly?
Okay, yeah, I'll chip in very quickly. You say, I don't think we're bereft of answers. I think we have too many answers or information overload, and sometimes don't know what to do with that, with all of that. So for me, that's why I'm after simplicity.
Yeah.
Now, and Patrice mentioned that already.
Yeah.
The mind of the youth. Empowerment, true empowerment, is really what happens in the mind. How do you think? And I can start to break that down. Realistic thinking. If we start with just that, I mean, we can stay here all night just to think realistically.
Realistic thinking.
Yes.
And I think a whole lot of times people don't think realistically. That's true.
Because most people, their eyes, as the Bible says, are at the ends of the earth, where most of the things that you really need to look at are right in front of you, right under your noses. So for me, I would like to see a young person, as a matter of fact, any human being at all, who can think right. Empowerment starts with the mind. The greatest resource that we've been given is our minds. So, how do you think? This is the critical thing when it comes to empowerment. How you think determines what you see, how you observe, and the kind of questions you will ask.
That's right.
Now, I want to tie this back to what you did last week, which is on mentoring. Now, mentoring, one of the best for me. Well, okay, I'll link that up with coaching because when it comes to mentoring, the benefit in mentoring is derived by asking the right questions. And I put that this way. I would say to myself or to the youth, ask yourself the difficult questions. The questions that allow you to become honest.
Honest itself, yeah.
However, to the mentor, ask developmental questions that allow you to grow, to learn, to become.
Yeah, let me interrupt here. This is and this ties together what both of you are saying. Patrice initially said we got to re-educate, and that re-education ties to exactly what you're saying right now, because our education system that we have in place, the formal institutionalized education, does not encourage you to think.
No, it doesn't.
So being educated doesn't equate to being empowered anymore, because that education we got never really empowered our mindset.
No.
And I think what you just said right now just spits it out. Okay. Patrice, jump on this, please.
So I will have to agree. My whole thing is mindset, because everything starts from where we're thinking. What are we thinking about? And what Pastor Kule said it's about self-awareness. And we have to teach our young people methodical ways to think. Like, it's step by step. You start with self-awareness. You look at the beliefs. What are the empowering beliefs? What are the beliefs that are going to take you to that destination? It starts with imagination. And so with the young people, as Pastor Kule said, we have all the answers. Within them are the answers. Within them is the untapped potential. And when he talked about coaching, and it's about unlocking what's already inside of them. How do you unlock? You start to challenge their thinking, challenge what they're seeing, challenge their frames of reference. We have to do that. And empowerment comes with growth. That's why everything I do, I like to challenge. I always do these different challenges, because with challenge comes growth. With challenge comes stretching. With challenge will make you start to think, how am I going to get to that destination? They have to step out of where they are. But it takes leaders to be able to, who think correctly and understand how to even ask the questions to unlock and unleash what is in that young person. Because if I go back to Africa, for example, within them is all the potential. I always say to people, it's an inside out process. Whatever you're looking for out there is looking for you, but it's you that has to shift. It's you. You have to now do the work on yourself. And when you start the work, it will find you. You don't need to go out there it's going to find you. But we now have to empower, which is strengthen, and give the people the confidence, give the young people the confidence now to actually look within. Everything is within us or within them. But it takes really great leaders. For me, a great leader is somebody that can see what's inside of you and pull it out, pull out your potential. For me, if anybody's working around me, you have to leave me better than how you came to me.
Right.
I want to be able to pull out what is inside of you. What is that thing? And now let's unlock it.
Wow.
The answers, the innovation, the ideas is probably in a village somewhere, but it needs somebody to go in and unlock what is inside of them. Help them challenge their thinking, challenge their beliefs, challenge what their because everything is through our perception. We don't really see. We see see through the eyes of our past. We see through the eyes of culture. We see through the eyes of our environment. We're not really seeing. So when Pastor Colin talk about realistic thinking, is what do you see? And being able as a leader to be able to challenge what the young person is seeing and be able to, I always talk about deprogram and reprogram. So that's the re-education to now erase what's not working and
deprogram and reprogram. Wow.
Yes. And to replace. But it starts with the vision. It starts, as we know, begin with the end in mind. Where are you trying to get to? What kind of youth do we want to be? And do we want them to be? And so we work backwards. We work backwards from there. Wow. That's empowerment. That's equipping and empowering. We work backwards from there.
You know, somebody just said on the forum that absolutely self-awareness is very, very key. Because if you're not aware of what you carry, what is inside of you, and this is where we really need to challenge, giving our young people responsibility, because responsibility literally empowers you.
Yes.
If you begin to see yourself as a solution, you begin to see yourself as being capable of actually delivering this. You're able to come out of your cocoon. So all this really just ties together. This is fantastic education for young people and also older people as well, because we got to set this environment. We got to set the stage for all of this as well. I'm very conscious of our time, but you see, I'm going to put both of you I'm going to put you on a platform right now, and I'm going to ask you. I'm asking before all the people that's here. We need you back. We need you back for one more session of this next Monday, because we can't finish this. I got loads of stuff I really wanted to ask you guys to talk to us about here today. So I'm going to get a yes from both of you. Is that yes? Next week Monday, yes. Okay, I got thumbs up. Come on, Patrice. Are you thumbs up? Okay, that's it. Put you on the spot there. Look, hey, this is live. This is leadership conversation. We need to address the issues in our world, and we're just one of the many, many other voices that we're trying to make sure that we put something in this space. Our world is cringing. Our world is in trouble, but we got to attack this quickly. We don't have much time at all, and that is why I know for many years our late founder, Dr. Miles Monroe, when he was telling us, the thoughts behind putting Itwala together. That's exactly why this organization is. I've had so much comment this week, and many people that want to be part of the Itwala journey itself. And this, just before we close as well, I'm just going to share with everyone again as well, what does Itwala represent? But before then, I'm just going to say it's been such an awesome time having you both, Kunle Banwo, Patrice Bailey. I mean, you've opened our minds. Like, look, I just want more. It's like I should sit there for the next 1 hour and just soak from you guys, and it's been fantastic. However, we're back again next week, Monday, 9 p.m. UK time on this same channel, same broadcast. Leadership Conversation with Itwala Europe. But what does Itwala really stand for? Please listen to this, and you know why we're doing what we're doing. It's so nice having you.
Hi, my name is Miles Monroe Jr., and I'm the chairman of the board for the International Third World Leaders Association. Our organization was birthed to respond to and address the critical need for quality, effective leadership development and training in the emerging developing nations.
Our vision is to establish a global network of leaders from every discipline,
committed to the highest standards of excellence in leadership training, personal development,
mutual accountability, and fraternal support, implementing relevant and innovative leadership philosophy based on time-tested precepts, principles, and values.
Our mission is to influence the destiny of developing third world nations through leadership training,
personal development, supportive relationships, and global networking.
Our purpose is to provide transformational solutions
in response to the dynamic leadership needs of the emerging third world developing nations.
Our goal is to cultivate leadership commitment
to produce leaders
dedicated to the empowerment of their people,
the progressive well-being of their citizens,
and the betterment of their nation.
The strategic approach captured in the slogan coined by our founder, Dr. Miles Monroe,
was transforming followers into leaders and leaders into agents of change. Our focus is national development through transformational leadership.
Transforming nations, communities from the inside out.
Join us in ushering in this new era of our organization.
We are tasked with carrying this vision forward.
And we are devoted to ensuring that we leave an unwavering legacy.
The organization that produces effective leaders
with global reach